What is up, everybody? It is AJ here, and in today's video we are unboxing the brand new MacBook Air M2 in midnight blue with the 8-core CPU and GPU and the 256GB SSD. This is the base model here that we have in front of us, and I personally think it is going to be the most popular MacBook sold this year. Of course, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see any of our future videos. With that being said, let's get into this. So opening it up, you can see here there's actually a pull tab where it's going to perforate the cardboard. It's just going to open straight down in front of us. And revealing inside our brand new MacBook Air M2 in midnight blue. So you can see here they've now got the little pull tab, which makes it a lot easier to actually unbox and get the plastic off the MacBook Air. And they're replacing a lot of the plastic now with recyclable paper, which still feels just as great. In the box here, that you can see we've got the laptop, we've got the MacBook Air. It is a lot thinner, but it actually feels really quite solid. We're going to open that in a second. Before we get into the MacBook Air, I just want to show you that we actually get a braided cable that is the same color as the color of your MacBook Air that you order. So of course, this one being midnight blue, you get an awesome braided midnight blue cable. I think this is a really nice touch from Apple, and this actually doesn't come in the MacBook Pros, even though they are more expensive, more premium devices. So hopefully we see in the next generation Apple keep with this trend. Of course, we have USB-C on one end to plug into the new 30-watt adapter, and the return of MagSafe to magnetically charge our MacBook Air. That's actually awesome. I'm not sure if you can see the colors there, but they are a midnight blue color instead of the standard silver or black. So maybe in other colors you get a Apple sticker that actually matches the color of your laptop. That is a really nice touch by Apple. And the last thing in the box is, of course, the new 30-watt adapter with USB-C. It's wrapped in, again, not plastic anymore, but it is wrapped in paper to make it easier and more environmentally friendly. And we now have USB-C port at the back, where our MagSafe is just going to plug straight in, and we connect that to the MacBook. Now let's actually get into what we're all here to see, which is the new MacBook Air. They've still got that bit of glue. Yeah, let's just rip into it. Awesome. So we can see the color of the MacBook Air is actually beautiful. It is a really nice midnight blue color. So as soon as we turned it on and open up that lid, of course, it has just turned on, and you can see there that beautiful 13.6-inch display screen is just saying hello and asking us to sign in. Before we sign in though, let's actually talk a bit about the design of the MacBook Air. The overall design of the M2 MacBook Air feels like a massive upgrade over last year's model, and it's definitely taken a lot of design cues from the big brother in the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro models. Namely in the fact that it has the return of the MagSafe power connector. It has the rounded body similar to those larger 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro models. And of course, when you're looking at the screen here, you can of course notice that notch where you have the 1080p webcam. Of course, any great laptop in 2022 needs to have really good speakers, cameras, and microphone. You're seeing me and hearing me from the MacBook Air M2 in midnight blue with its 1080p webcam, which is a big upgrade from the 720 in last year's model. And of course, the 3 beamforming microphone, which should really focus and pick up on my voice while drowning out the background noise, which is really important when you are on video calls. It is ridiculously thin and light, weighing in at only 1.24 kilos and only 1.13 centimeters in terms of height. So it's super thin and super light. I reckon you could basically throw this in your backpack and almost forget that it's in there. Apple has also done a big upgrade in terms of the colors you can get the new MacBook Air in. Of course, you can get it in the traditional space gray and silver, but you can also now choose from the Starlight, and of course, what I think is going to be one of the most popular colors, the midnight blue, like we have here in front of us. Being the MacBook Air, this device is completely fanless, so you're not going to hear a peep from it even when it's under heavy load. I actually paused making this video for a bit just to try some video editing and actually see if I could get this thing to heat up, and it ran like a champ. But of course, if you want to see a more in-depth performance review, make sure you hit that subscribe button for when that video launches. In terms of ports, the M2 MacBook Air doesn't have a massive upgrade over last year's model. On the right hand side, you have the headphone connector, which is for your wired headphones to plug them in. And on the left hand side, we have of course the return of the MagSafe connector to charge your device, as well as two USB-C Thunderbolt 3 ports. The USB-C ports are of course capable of charging your device, so if you don't want to use MagSafe but you'd rather use USB-C, you can use either of these ports to do that. In terms of connecting external displays to your MacBook Air, you can only connect one external display, albeit you can actually run up to one 6K monitor. But if you're looking at running multiple displays out of your MacBook Air, you might want to consider a different machine or find some docking stations that are going to work for you. So let's talk about this display for a second, because Apple has always been known for putting awesome displays on their devices, and the M2 MacBook Air definitely does not disappoint. You get the beautiful 13.6-inch liquid retina display, which maxes out at 500 nits peak brightness, which is more than capable for most people in most situations. The 500 nit display also runs at P3 wide color gamut, and of course it has True Tone. But basically, if you put the text and specs aside, what you get is a really crisp and clear display that you're not going to have any issues with. And of course, it is ridiculously thin in terms of the bezel and the body that it's in. And around the side here, the bezels are minimal. You are definitely going to love this display. You may have an issue if you haven't used it before getting used to the notch at the top, but even that after a couple of minutes sort of just fades away into the background. Overall, you're going to be really happy with the display on your M2 MacBook Air. The keyboard is actually one of the best keyboards I've used on an Apple device. It has a lot of travel, it's got great depth to the keys, they're very responsive, and they're actually really big in terms of the size of your individual keys. And I love the fact that there is the return of the physical function bars. I'm still using my 15-inch MacBook Pro with the touch bar, and I think the touch bar is one of the weakest points on early Apple devices. Of course, in the top right hand corner, you do have your Touch ID, which works really quickly, but I do wish they put Face ID like a lot of the Windows devices have. Down the bottom underneath the keyboard, you have the trackpad, which is nowhere near as big as my 15-inch MacBook Pro, but I'm not complaining about that because this trackpad basically takes up all the real estate on the bottom half of the keyboard. It feels great, it's really responsive, it's got a lot of great tactile feedback to it. The all-glass trackpad feels really nice, but it doesn't get in your way, so I think they've done an awesome job with the typing and mouse experience on here. I could definitely see myself typing on this very comfortably for hours because that keyboard is just an awesome experience. Apple has managed to squeeze in a 4-speaker sound system into the MacBook Air, which is a wide stereo sound. It has support for spatial audio and of course Dolby Atmos, which is really impressive in such a small package. In terms of the overall speaker performance and volume, I'm really impressed with the quality of the speakers in a device this thin and light. It's not the best or the most bassy speakers that I've heard from a laptop, but in terms of the fact of a 13-inch super thin device like this, the speakers are really quite good. So there you guys have it. That is the unboxing and my first impressions of the M2 MacBook Air in Midnight Blue. I am honestly really impressed with the overall design of the MacBook Air. I think they've done a great job really upgrading one of their most popular devices. This machine on first impression looks and feels phenomenal. The screen is amazing, the keyboard is great to type on, and the trackpad is really good. I didn't really talk about performance and battery life in this video. I want to put this device through its paces and really give you a full proper review on the performance and battery life of the M2 MacBook Air. So if you are interested in seeing that video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it when it comes out. That's about it for now. Let me know your thoughts on the new M2 MacBook Air in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.